There was a time in my life when stress felt like an uninvited guest who refused to leave. Every day I woke up with a heavy chest, my mind already running 1,000 miles per hour, and no matter how much I achieved, it never felt enough. The deadlines, the expectations, the noise of the world, it was crushing, and maybe you felt that too, that feeling where life isn't just demanding, it's suffocating. But then something shifted, something small, simple, but powerful. And it changed everything for me. What I discovered is this: stress is not the problem, our relationship with stress is. We think stress is the enemy, but stress is actually a signal. It's a messenger. It's your mind and body's way of saying, hey, something needs your attention, something isn't aligned. The moment I stopped running from stress and started listening to it, my entire world changed. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? I began asking, what is this teaching me? That one question transformed stress from a weight into fuel. See, most people live in reaction mode. They wake up, they check their phone, they let the world decide how they feel. But the moment you take back control of your focus, your breathing, and your state, stress loses its grip. I started with the smallest things, pausing when my chest got tight, taking 3 deep breaths, and reminding myself, I am not my stress, I am the one observing it. Suddenly, instead of drowning, I was surfing the waves, and let me tell you this: stress is not meant to break you, it's meant to shape you. Diamonds are formed under pressure, and so are you. The things that stress you today are preparing you for the strength you'll need tomorrow. The deadlines, the challenges, the responsibilities, they're not punishments, they're training. And once you realize that, you stop seeing stress as a curse and start seeing it as a teacher. So if you feel stressed out right now, remember this: stress will only control you if you let it. But the moment you breathe, shift your perspective, and ask what it's teaching you, it becomes your ally. That shift changed everything for me, and it can change everything for you too. Because you don't need a stress-free life to be happy. You just need the strength to use stress as fuel, not fear. So the next time stress knocks at your door, don't panic. Smile, breathe, and say, I see you. Thank you for showing me where I need to grow. That's how you turn stress into power. That's how you take back control, and that's how everything can change for you. Most people spend their entire lives running from stress as if it's a monster chasing them. They believe stress is purely negative, something that only breaks them down, something to avoid at all costs. But the truth is, stress itself is not the problem. It's our perspective on stress that decides whether it destroys us or develops us. Think about it. 2 people can go through the exact same challenge, but one collapses under the pressure while the other grows stronger. What makes the difference? It's perspective. It's the meaning they attach to that stress. The person who views stress as an unbearable weight feels crushed, but the person who views stress as a challenge, as training, as an opportunity to rise higher, that person becomes unstoppable. When I realized this, everything changed for me. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? I began to ask, what is this trying to teach me? And that simple shift in perspective opened my eyes. Stress wasn't there to punish me. It was there to guide me. It was a signal that something needed my attention, something inside me needed to grow. The truth is, stress is just energy. It's your body's way of saying, wake up, pay attention, move, change, rise. But if we interpret that energy as danger, we panic. If we interpret it as power, we progress. The same pressure that breaks glass is the pressure that forms diamonds, and you too are being shaped by the pressure you feel right now. Think of athletes, entrepreneurs, or leaders. Do you think they live stress-free lives? Absolutely not. They face incredible amounts of pressure, but what sets them apart is their mindset. They don't see stress as something to run from. They see it as a chance to grow stronger, more resilient, more capable. When you begin to shift your perspective this way, stress stops being your enemy and starts being your coach. It pushes you, stretches you, challenges you, and ultimately molds you into the person you were meant to be. So the next time you feel stressed, pause and reframe it. Instead of saying, this is too much, try saying, this is building me. Instead of thinking, I can't handle this, tell yourself, this is preparing me for what's next. The stress doesn't change, but your perspective does. And when your perspective changes, your energy, your emotions, and your actions follow. Suddenly, stress transforms from something that crushes you into something that fuels you. Remember, life will always bring challenges. You cannot eliminate stress completely, but you can transform your relationship with it. You can see it as a weight pressing you down, or you can see it as resistance training, making you stronger every day. That choice belongs to you, and the moment you choose to shift your perspective on stress, the moment you decide to see it as growth, guidance, and preparation, that is the moment stress changes from your enemy into your greatest ally. That shift alone can change everything. Stress often feels like an unstoppable storm, but what many people don't realize is that the storm isn't outside, it's inside. Most of us don't get stressed simply because of events, but because of the way we react to them. The truth is, stress gains its power when we lose control of our state. When you're in reaction mode, scrolling endlessly, answering every notification, rushing through your day without pause, you've handed over your power to the world. You're living on autopilot, and autopilot breeds stress. The key to breaking free is simple yet life-changing. Take back control of your state. Your state is the combination of your mind, your emotions, and your body in any given moment. When stress hits, your body tenses, your breathing gets shallow, your heart races, and your mind begins to spin stories of worry and fear. But here's the empowering truth. You are not your stress, you are the one observing it. That means you can step in, interrupt the cycle, and shift your state deliberately. Something as small as 3 slow, intentional breaths can reset your nervous system. Standing tall instead of slouching changes your physiology, and instantly you feel more capable. Focusing on gratitude, even for one thing, flips the script in your brain from survival to strength. I learned this the hard way. There were times I would spiral into stress, thinking I had no control, but then I realized I was choosing not to use the tools I already had. The human body is wired to calm itself when you activate it correctly. Breathing deeply lowers cortisol, moving your body changes your energy, choosing empowering language instead of negative self-talk rewires your mind. The moment I began practicing these small shifts, I stopped being a victim of stress and started becoming the master of my emotions. Imagine this: you wake up late, your phone is full of emails, traffic is backed up, and suddenly your entire day feels ruined. But what if in that exact moment you paused, breathed deeply, straightened your posture, and told yourself, I control how this day feels? That tiny act would reset your state. Stress no longer dictates your life. You dictate your response. And the response you choose in the small moments is what defines your overall peace, energy, and resilience. The most successful people on earth are not the ones with stress-free lives. They are the ones who have mastered the art of controlling their state under stress. They don't allow the world to push them into chaos. They reclaim their focus, their breathing, and their mindset no matter what's happening around them, and that's what you must do too. The storm outside can rage as loud as it wants, but if you control your inner state, you stand unshaken. So the next time stress tries to hijack your emotions, don't hand over your power. Pause, breathe, reset your body, shift your focus, and take command of your state. Because when you master your state, you master your stress. And when you master your stress, you master your life. One of the biggest sources of stress in life comes from trying to control things that were never in our hands to begin with. We stress over the future, over people's opinions, over outcomes that haven't even happened yet. We waste energy worrying about the weather, about traffic, about whether someone will like us or not. And the more we try to control the uncontrollable, the more powerless and overwhelmed we feel. That's the trap of stress. It feeds on our attention being scattered everywhere except where it truly matters. But freedom begins the moment you redirect your focus back to what you can control. When I finally understood this, it was like a weight lifted off my shoulders. I realized that I can't control what happens around me, but I can always control what happens within me. I can't control if someone criticizes me, but I can control whether I take it personally or use it as fuel. I can't control if life throws challenges my way, but I can control whether I approach them with panic or with courage. That shift, focusing only on what's within my power, was like stepping out of a prison I had built for myself. Think about it. Your thoughts, your effort, your decisions, your attitude, these are yours. No one can take them away from you. But when you give your energy to things outside of your influence, you drain yourself and stress multiplies. It's like trying to row a boat by pushing against the wind instead of using the oars in your hands. The wind isn't yours to command, but the oars are. And if you just focus on rowing, you'll eventually get where you need to go. The truth is, most of life is uncertain. You can't control every outcome, but you can always control your preparation. You can't control what people think of you, but you can control the work you put in, the values you stand for, and the way you carry yourself. And here's the magic. When you stop obsessing over the uncontrollable, you free up energy to actually make progress in the areas that matter. Stress doesn't disappear, but it loses its power because your attention is no longer being wasted. It's being invested. Imagine how different your life would feel if, instead of stressing over the results you can't predict, you poured all that energy into the actions you can take right now. Instead of asking, "What if this doesn't work out?" you ask, "What can I do today to move forward?" That shift alone can transform overwhelm into momentum, because stress thrives on uncertainty, but confidence thrives on action. So when life feels chaotic, pause and ask yourself a simple question. Is this within my control? If the answer is yes, take action. If the answer is no, let it go. That single practice can cut your stress in half because you stop fighting battles that were never yours to fight. And the more you focus on what's in your hands, the stronger, calmer, and more effective you become. Stress doesn't have to rule you. It only does when you waste energy on what you can't control. But when you master the art of focusing on what's truly yours, your mindset, your choices, your actions, you step into power. And in that power, stress no longer crushes you. It sharpens you, it prepares you, it builds you, and that's the key to turning stress into strength. Most people view stress as an obstacle, something that drains their energy, steals their peace, and holds them back. But the truth is, stress is not only survivable. It can become the very fuel that drives you forward. The difference lies in how you choose to use it. Stress is pressure, and pressure can either crush you or create you. Just like fire, it can burn down a forest or it can power a city. Stress is no different. When you learn to channel it, when you flip the script, stress becomes the raw energy that propels you to rise. Think about your greatest breakthroughs in life. They rarely came when everything was easy and comfortable. They came when you were under pressure, when deadlines were closing in, when challenges felt overwhelming. Why? Because stress forces you to grow beyond your limits. It wakes up a side of you that comfort never will. Stress pushes you to find solutions, to dig deeper, to fight harder, and to rise higher than you thought possible. That's why it should never be feared, it should be harnessed. I used to think stress was breaking me, but then I realized it was building me. Every sleepless night that tested my patience made me stronger. Every difficult conversation that raised my heart rate developed my courage. Every overwhelming task that made me want to quit built my endurance. Stress was not tearing me apart, it was training me. It was like resistance at the gym. Without resistance, your muscles don't grow. Without stress, your character doesn't grow either. What feels heavy today is only shaping the strength you'll need tomorrow. The key is not to run from stress, but to reframe it. Instead of saying, "I'm stressed because this is too much," say, "I'm stressed because I'm being stretched to grow." Instead of thinking, "This pressure is unbearable," remind yourself, "This pressure is preparing me for my next level." The moment you shift that story, stress stops being poison and becomes power. Imagine if every stressful situation became your personal training ground. That tight deadline isn't punishment, it's sharpening your focus. That overwhelming responsibility isn't a curse, it's building your leadership. That challenge that scares you isn't meant to paralyze you, it's meant to prepare you. When you decide to see stress as fuel, you stop being afraid of it and you start feeding off it. The very thing you thought was breaking you becomes the energy that moves you closer to your dreams. So the next time stress shows up, and it will, don't shrink back, step into it, ask yourself, how can I use this pressure to grow stronger? Because life isn't about eliminating stress, it's about transforming it. Diamonds are made under pressure, champions are forged in the fire, and you are no different. Let your stress be the fire that forges you, the pressure that polishes you, the fuel that propels you. When you learn to use stress this way, it no longer breaks you. It builds you into someone unstoppable.